From the moment he could walk, he wasn't treated like a child. He was treated like an investment. In a tiny house in Gary, Indiana, with 9 siblings packed together, there was no space for dreams, only discipline. His father was strict, sometimes cruel, drilling him in rehearsals until his little body gave out. At just 5 years old, he stood before a microphone not out of choice but obligation. The world saw a wonder child, but behind the lights was a boy who cried himself to sleep, who was mocked for his nose, and who would grow up never liking the face in the mirror. As part of the group of 5, his childhood disappeared into flashing lights and screaming crowds. Fame came fast, but innocence vanished faster. He once said, "I don't remember having a childhood." But that boy had something rare, genius. By his teenage years, he was already more than a singer. He was a phenomenon. By his 20s, he created Thriller, an album that became the best-selling record in history. The stage became his kingdom, and the world crowned him the king of pop. Yet genius has its price. In 1984, during a drink commercial shoot, a firework went wrong. Flames burned through his hair, searing his scalp. Behind the smiles on stage, he lived with chronic pain, countless surgeries, and an addiction to painkillers that began not from vanity, but survival. And his changing skin? That wasn't a costume. He was battling vitiligo and lupus, conditions that stripped pigment from his skin and made sunlight unbearable. Makeup wasn't about looking different. It was about covering the patches, the shame, the whispers. Yet the tabloids turned it into a cruel story. He doesn't want to be who he is. The truth was simpler and sadder. He was sick. To cope, he built his dream world, Neverland. A ranch filled with roller coasters, animals, and arcades. It wasn't for show, it wasn't for glamour. It was for him. A place where a man who never had a childhood could finally play. But even kindness was twisted. His love for children, his charity work, donating more money than any other pop star in history, over $500 million, was often overshadowed by rumors and accusations that would haunt him for decades. He was a man surrounded by millions, yet deeply alone. So lonely, in fact, that he often disguised himself just to walk through a mall like a normal person, to buy candy without security, to feel human. Still, when he stepped on stage, the loneliness disappeared. His moonwalk became magic, his voice became fire. His concerts weren't just shows. They were revolutions, breaking racial barriers, uniting cultures, inspiring generations. But off stage, he whispered a prophecy, that fame, the same thing that gave him the world, would also destroy him. And in many ways, it did. The boy from Gary, Indiana, the perfectionist shaped by cruelty and pain, the man who redefined music, dance, and performance, the legend who gave joy to billions, while struggling to find joy for himself. The child star, the icon, the broken soul. Do you know who he is?